welcome. If it's your first time joining me, I'm Frankenfrog, Janine Hines. I live in Toronto. I have 2 kids. One is 2 and my daughter's turning 8. And I knit, I crochet, I tried spinning, and I'll get back to you on that one. Yeah, I love to interview anyone in the yarn scene in Toronto, in Ontario, in Canada, really. And I have a great interview for you later on in this episode. I have a lot of things to show you. Since we last saw each other, I went to the Muskoka FibreFest on my way up to camp at Killbear Provincial Park. And it was very amazing to go to an in-person yarn show after so long that we haven't been able to do things like that. And I saw some of the folks that I've interviewed in person, which was such a beautiful thing as well. I tried not to linger too long because I don't know, I felt the need to move through because there were the arrows and they said that you could go around as many times as you wanted, but it was all kind of one direction, because everybody had to move inside because of rain. So, you know, it was a whole thing. And the mandatory vaccine passport wasn't in effect yet. So I think, you know, being really careful was a good thing for them. So let's get into what I have to show you. First of all, I have this beautiful Stitch Noir gradient. I'm gonna hold it up and then I'll take it out of the bag because as ASMR-y as this is right now, you probably can't see it very well. In fact, my lighting is just kind of bad today, but I'm just gonna roll with it because I don't really have a choice. I'm gonna show you all the colors. This is an 80-20 sock gradient, and this gradient is called Spirit, this order of colorways in particular. And these gradients are so special that honestly, when you see them in person, it's next to impossible to choose just one. Okay, it's gonna get a little crunchy here. Here, I'm gonna go like this, and then I'll come closer to the camera. they are my babies. Look at this one. Look at how beautiful that is. Excellent, and keep going. Don't fall off, Blue. It's gonna be fine. All right, we're almost there. I don't know if this is better than when they were in the bag. Is it? Oh, here we go. Now you see. Come here. Okay, let's go. Towards the camera, having your moment in the sun. Yes. So, there's a beautiful Stephen West shawl that is a lace shawl. And I think it is called Fiery Foliage? I think so. I'll put it up there. But that is what I'm going to make with this gradient. Unless, you know, the feeling strikes me and I make another Pouf. I mean, really could be amazing. Which one would you put on the cuff? Would you end with the blue? Let's have a close-up of this one too. Is this what we're craving? A little close-up of each of the skeins? Maybe. Yes, each one is their own beautiful colorway, and then the gradient is just absolutely spectacular. Yeah, so that was dyed by our good friend Amanda Hyde at Stitch Noir. All right, there we go. Showed all those things. Check that off the list. Next, picked up a hat set from Pretty Little Yarns, and these 2 pieces came together. Now, this wasn't my pick, it was Evelyn's, so she got to pick some things for herself. She picked it, and I think it's beautiful, so I'm excited about it. So this is the main color, and this is Cascade Lana Grande. Do I say grande, like Ariana? Probably. 100% Peruvian Highland wool. You can see it's just a beautiful kind of creamy oatmeal color, and this is the pom pom that comes with it with a snap. So that just snaps onto the top of the hat. And I do believe the other half of the snap is in the middle of this ball of yarn because Evelyn popped this off as soon as she bought it because she wanted to touch the pom pom, I guess. So I'll be making a winter hat for her out of that little kit. Surprised that I haven't used all my new acquisitions because I got them last month in August. Actually, what month is it? Ooh, it's September still. Yeah, got it in on time. So next I picked up these earrings. You can take a look at them. Sorry about the extreme close-up. This is literally my makeup from school, and I wore a mask all day, so this is what I look like right now. So you can see it's stockinette stitch on these beautiful earrings, and I will show the tag. These earrings are by Heather Sampson at Howling Hill Studio. Make sure that gets into focus. Ooh, where is it? I don't know. Okay, here, I'll show this side. Maybe that'll be better. So that's Howling Hill Studio. And they're beautiful. And they are wood, and I've been wearing them so much to school. So love those. And then I picked up, I could not get this. I mean, I'm gonna take this apart a little bit so that you can see this part of the skein. So this is dragon strings, and the rest of the colorway is this gradient of gray, kind of silvery, with these beautiful pops of color. And this colorway is called Aurora Borealis. And there was a One Skein Wonder shawl on display in the booth that was made with this. And I had something else in my hand, something else completely. And when I saw the shawl made out of this colorway, it was so spectacular. And these little bits of color were so just graphic kind of in the shawl that I had to. It called my name, and this was what I ended up with, and I'm so excited about that choice. Okay, and next, sorry, there are like actually 100 things that I got. Next I have, of course, I couldn't just go to Stitch Noir and then, you know, make my way and then leave. I had to go back to Stitch Noir because Evelyn had seen something that she really liked there for a sweater for her. So let me tell you what this is. This is the 80/20 sock in the colorway Blaze. And you can see that it is spectacular. So 2 skeins of this I got. And this is a first time for me, but I'm so excited to try Surrey Alpaca, the first time ever. And this colorway is Luminous, and it feels like a dream. And I'm really excited to try it because I've heard a lot about Surrey Alpaca. A lot of people kind of, you know, big upping Surrey Alpaca in the knitting world. So yeah, this is gonna be a love note for Evelyn. And every time I wear my love note, she makes a big deal out of it and says it's beautiful. So one for her. I think it'll be a great idea. Is that all I have? I think that's it. I think those are all those are all the new acquisitions. They're all out of them. Let's go to my works in progress. I am super excited about this pair of socks. A few episodes ago, I said I was going to try and become a sock knitter because I know you're out there, but I know there are people who were like me who the last thing you would make would be a pair of socks. Like, it would be like literally everybody else in line, and then the socks, if someone forced you, if you were under duress, you would make a pair of socks. But I have been starting to understand, number one, and understanding leads to enjoyment in my experience. So I am making what I'm calling the butterfly pasta socks. They are 2 at a time. I'll hold them up like that. Beautiful. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my lighting, but hopefully you can see how incredible this colorway is. And at the front of each sock, it's a little hard to see. They're a little squiggly right now, but there is a cable going up the front of these socks, and it's absolutely beautiful. And then there's the butterfly pasta on either side. That is not what the pattern is called. And this is living in my Mags Make Stuff bag that I got at Spin Me a Yarn with my little bi-stitchual pins on there. And so the actual pattern is by Lelaine Biscotte. Chantal, please tell me if I said that right. I'm sorry about my French. And the name of the pattern is Levé lever des rideaux, which means to raise the curtain. So I guess the little pastas are like the gathering of the curtain as it goes up. And the yarn is actually a de-stash from a very good friend of mine. This yarn is by Scrumptious Pearl. There's the tag. Beautiful dog on the tag. Is that a, oh, it's like a border collie. And the colorway is Full Throttle. And yeah, I think this colorway is just really, really special. Just the way that that lavender plays with the little bits of green, but you're never getting anything muddy. Also kind of matches my hair, right? So I'm really excited to be working on those. They are really kind of easy, intuitive, but also interesting, you know, because I've knitted quite a few vanilla socks recently. So I'm excited to move forward. Next, in my works in progress, I have the monster that just, like, I feel like I'm never gonna finish this because it's already so big and there's still so much more to go. So this is Stars in Your Hands by Inez Sang. And I've just finished the next section that had baubles. Can we see these baubles? Oh, I don't know if you can. My lighting is kind of horrible. Or maybe it's just that the gray baubles don't stand out like that. Maybe when I hold them back like this, you can see it better. Let's have a full tour. Ooh, yeah. Okay, and it just never stops. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's still, yeah. There's the end. Okay. And you can already see, this is gonna be a good time. Should we do a little, yeah. Yeah, let's have a little styling moment. Are we gonna, is this, oh wow, yes. Who is that? So I think this is gonna be absolutely spectacular when it's finished. And I've been told by several knitting friends that I'm not allowed to give it away when I'm finished, which is always my urge. I always want to gift things that I make that are spectacular. I don't know why. I just feel that there's someone out there that the gift is right for, you know? That's not me. And thirdly, I'm gonna put all the yarn details for all of my works in these two works in progress because these are like months old. So if you've been watching along, you don't need to hear all the yarn details, and I'll put them in the description. This is my Timberline cardigan. I feel like there should be a drum roll because this is the longest standing project ever so far, but these are the sleeves so far. And we're getting there, We're a lot closer than we were before. I am almost finished. I have one more increase. So this is where all the increases happen. You can see there's a big chunk of reverse stockinette here. And some of the other cables that finish the design on that side. But yep, I have been working on these pretty diligently, which I feel like someone should give me kind of a medal because, you know, it's a tough slog getting through all these cables and keeping your fingers alive and all of that. So lastly, no, I think that's all of my works in progress. Yeah, that's everything I'm working on right now. Okay, I changed my lighting a little bit and I don't know if it's better. I don't know why this iPhone, I got a new iPhone, and ever since I got this iPhone, the lighting is not the same as with the old crappier iPhone, but this is what we're dealing with now. Next, I have a sweater that I finished. It is the Flax by Tin Can Knits, but my husband put it on the baby today and the baby's wearing it. I mean, he's 2, so I guess he's not a baby, but in my mind, he's a baby, you know. So I'm gonna slap up a picture here. I used the Yarn Therapist Deciduous Sweater Yoke. So this is the Yarn Therapist card. And the Deciduous Sweater Yoke is a beautiful fall kind of rainbow, if you will. It goes kind of sequentially through a few colors, which you can see in the photos that I'll put up. This is 100% superwash merino, and this is the worsted sweater yoke. And so basically I walked up and I said the age of the person that I was making the sweater for, and they recommended which yoke I needed to buy. And then the body of the sweater was also from my friend Sarah's D-stash. So this was the beautiful Madeline Tosh yarn in the colorway, it's DK, in the colorway Maple Leaf, which is such a spectacular color. Just when you see it, it makes you happy. It brings happiness into the room. I can actually show you that colorway in person because I finished a hat that matches the sweater. And you probably recognize this hat as the Flicker and Flame by Andrea Mowry. And I'll show you the most fun part, right? The crown that makes this super fun kind of starburst. And so that is the child size. Oh, apparently I still need to wind in an end there. And I also made a little pom pom to match. So this is the pom I made. It's pretty fun. It's really big. And so what are we saying? We loving it? Yeah. Don't sue me, McDonald's. Okay, cool. And this is what I use to make the pom pom. So I'm sure some of you have this, but it is the Clover pom pom maker. It works really, really well. The only thing is my scissors are extremely blunt. So I highly recommend that you have sharp scissors to use it. And if you've never used one of these before and you get one, there's a great tutorial that is up on the YouTubes. I'll link it below so you can see how to use this to make beautiful round pom-poms that just need a little tiny trim at the end. But that's what I used. Next, I've got these vanilla socks. Now, as soon as these socks were finished, my daughter Evelyn wore them and ran on carpet for 2 hours. So they have experienced some wear since I made them. And they don't really go on these sock blockers because these are for me. But I wanted to be able to show the socks. So this is one sock, here's the other sock, and these were knitted in Lang Super Socks in their Cashmere blend, and this yarn is to die for. It's so soft and so nice, so beautiful to work with, and I absolutely love how the two, oh gosh, don't look at that poor purple sock again. I think I picked most of the pills off of the yellow one, but yeah, the way that it knits up is just spectacular, and the way it felt in my hand. I knitted these on a size 0, and I knitted it over, what did I do? I think it was, I want to say 54 stitches. It was something very close to that, but I kind of did the thing, when you do toe up, you know you can try on as you go. So I really just tried them on her and then figured out what I was going to do from there. And lastly, I finished another Pouf, but this one is a cropped one. And this one was for Evelyn as well. I finished only things for my children since the last time we saw each other. And this is the back of the Pouf. This Pouf is made out of pretty much every color that I had sitting around. Here, I'll hold it like this. This is the top of the shoulder. So here's the sleeve. We've got everything here. We've got the Loving Path. We got Le Bien-Aimé. We've got Stitch Together Studio. We've got Hedgehog Fibers. A big chunk of this yellow is Fool's Gold by Hedgehog Fibers. This top part is all Poppy by Hedgehog Fibers. And then let's see the front as well. So it's a cardigan. So I decided to do a tiny little gradient on the collar as well, just to kind of keep it going. And yeah, this is, I just feel like it's beautiful and it's totally kitchen sink. And I didn't even like plan the yarn out that much before I started. I just kind of like went for it, and this is how it ended up. I'll put a couple pictures of her wearing it as well. But she has worn it a lot. In fact, she wore it yesterday to school and left it outside on the climber and then came home. You can bet I emailed her teacher so fast. I was like, full description of sweater. It is very precious. It is hand knit. Please, can you look for it? And her teacher must have found it because it's back in my loving arms. Children, am I right? So that's all I have for you today. My husband just sent me a text message letting me know that I should stop podcasting soon because I'm gonna make chili. So I'm gonna do that. I'm sure you're all into the fall cooking as well. I absolutely love cooking. I love baking. So getting into that is super fun. Getting into our sweaters, am I right? It's the best part. So I have an interview with the fabulous Danielle, owner of Spun Fibre Arts in Oakville, Ontario. And I'm very excited for this interview. I recently discovered Spun Fibre Arts because I'd never been out there to any of the yarn stores. And it's a beautiful, welcoming space, and the yarns they carry are spectacular. You'll see for yourself. So please enjoy. Yay! We are live.
All right.
Okay.
We made it.
Yes, finally. We only rescheduled our interview about 14 times, but we're here now.
Yeah, and it's perfect.
I'm here now with Danielle from Spun Fibre Arts, located in Oakville in the Bronte area. So excited to interview. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm so excited to finally be here.
So, Danielle, how did you get started in the fiber textiles world, and what led you to the opening of your welcoming haven of yarn that is Spun Fibre Arts?
Well, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I started as a naturopathic doctor. And while I was studying to be a naturopath, I had my first child. And, that whole nesting instinct thing is totally a thing. And I thought, I want to knit this child of mine that is going to be something for them to wear. So I asked my mother to teach me how to knit. And she says that she taught me when I was younger, but I don't remember that. But that could be why it kind of clicked a little bit quicker the second time around. And I just didn't stop. And so the first thing, of course, was totally, a sweater that wouldn't go over his head, like it was, exactly as it should be. It just was a total disaster. And but I learned, and, she taught me what I needed to. She gave me this great book. And I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a giant Bible how to, because this was 26 now years ago, and internet, Google, YouTube, not a thing. So I had this big Bible of a book that told me everything, and it had great pictures. And so fortunately, I'm somebody who can learn by teaching myself. So I went through this book. Every time a pattern said, do this, do that, I learned that way. And of course, I didn't know what a local yarn store was. I just went to wherever I could to buy yarn. And that was stores that aren't even in existence anymore, like Lewis Craft. I don't know if you even remember Lewis Craft.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
There are a lot. And so bought, whatever yarn I could afford. So it wasn't for years later until I found out more about wool, because I had the same idea that everybody else, a lot of people have, which is that 100% wool means scratchy.
Yes.
It's too rough, can't wear it next to my skin, I'm allergic. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna see what I could do to be natural. So I thought cotton was my only choice. And as I'm learning things about the environment and living my life, according to naturopathic principles, I'm like, okay, I want to get a little bit more into natural fibers. So I just did a little bit of research and went to visit finally some local yarn stores and learned a little bit more. And then 15 years ago, I just a little bit over 15 years, because actually it is just about the time 15 years ago that I opened the store. And so a little bit more than 15 years ago, I was like, you know what, there isn't a local yarn store anymore in Burlington where I was living. And I just had found that knitting and crocheting, and at that point spinning, was something that kept me sane, kept me really grounded. And so I thought, man, like I need that. So I can't imagine how many other people need that. So I just felt this call to open up Spun. And I wanted it to be a place where people could come and gather. And that was my vision. I didn't care where you came from, what you were walking in with. I was going to help you and I was going to teach you, because I thought if I had that preconceived notion, I bet you a lot of other people do. So most of what we do is education. And it's to watch people's faces light up when they go, that's wool, but that's soft. Like, yeah. And it can be totally soft and you can wear it next to your skin. And guess what? You can even wash it in the washing machine. And it's like, so it's great. And that's how I got into it. And that's why I'm still in it. I just love it.
And that's so beautiful. It's great. You know, you get that education and you find out all of this stuff. And then you just want to pass on that knowledge. And yarn nerds like us, we just love everything about all the yarn nerdery, right?
Yep. And there's always so much that's new. I mean, the way that fibers are, spun, the way that they're carded can affect the resulting yarn. Is it going to be lighter? Is it going to be more durable? I mean, just even cotton, depending on how it's treated and how it's spun, it can be mercerized and totally solid, or it can be something that's so light and airy, but very easy to break if you were to pull too hard. Like there's just so much about how, what goes into making a yarn that was just fascinating, and it continues to evolve. And that's the part that it just keeps it exciting for us, because every season there's a new yarn or a new treatment or a new, just development that just makes things so exciting. And so we're continually, interested and excited and passionate about what we do. It's just great.
Yeah, and we really get that passion as soon as we step into the store, the interactions with your staff that I had and my daughter had. We really felt the energy of excitement, in the place. So recently I saw an exchange over social media whereby Stitchwell was addressing a troll who was basically saying, oh, why has it got to be queer? It's yarn. I understand why having queer identities in business is important. But perhaps you could speak to this as well, being Oakville's premier queer-owned yarn shop.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, those kind of trolls, I don't even know if they deserve a platform to be able to respond to, because for somebody to say that just shows their ignorance in my frame of mind. But it's interesting, over the last 15 years, when I first opened, it wasn't important to me to identify that way, because I actually felt, and this is my own evolution, I actually thought, well, maybe it'll hurt me. And then over the course of the years, and as society evolved and I evolved personally, then I thought, well, wait a minute, if I'm worried that somebody's not going to shop at my store because I identify as bisexual or queer, then those aren't the people I want shopping in the store. So when I got to that point, then it was like, well, hell, this is who I am. I'm going to put it out there. And, it took a little bit of courage, I will say, the first time. And then once I did, and I realized that so many other people would then come in and say, oh, my daughter saw that, your post on being bisexual, and she was just so happy because she just came out recently, and so I'm here just to, to buy something for her. And I thought, oh, great, or, oh my gosh, I just love that pattern that you did, because, and people coming in going, oh, I saw your women owned and queer owned. That's so great. I thought, wow, people are coming just because of that, not even because of the yarn. I'm reaching, a subset of people just by being me that I wouldn't have reached if I wasn't being honest. And I just love that. And so I think that regardless of whether it's yarn, whether it's designs, whether it's, I don't know, potatoes, I mean, it doesn't matter. The fact is that we have a choice of where we want to put our money, right? And so I want to make sure that I'm giving my dollar to somebody who shares the same values as I do, or has the same sexual identity as I do, or belongs to the same minority group as I do. Whatever it is, you know, there's a lot of options out there. And I think it does matter that it's queer yarn to a lot of people. And for those that it doesn't matter to, or those that find it's offensive, there's lots of other places you can go shop. So
There sure are. Exactly. And that representation, I hear all the time from my students, you know, it's huge. It's massive, you know, even it's a little bit of a side note, but in teaching musical theater, that's something that we really need to think about all the time. You know, it's like, where is the representation of the queer community, and how can we dig in and create representation and find it where we need it, you know?
That's huge in the industry.
And you know, exactly. This is something I said in my very first episode. Now we want to know. We want to know the values of the places where we are putting our money. We're interested, you know? So I think, that's a really, really important part of your shop and who you are, and putting something out there into the world that people can gravitate to. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
So, shop tour.
All right, I'm going to take you with me here. Okay, so on this lovely wall that goes from one end of the store to the other, we have a selection of, we love rainbows around here, as you can tell. So we've got DK weight yarns here. We've got, let me just go up here. Okay, so we've got one of my favorite yarns is Katya's Cotton Merino. And this is one of their newest cotton merinos, which is Cotton Merino Fine. And it's a sport weight. Whoops. It's a sport weight version of Cotton Merino, which this is one of those great things I was telling you about with the way that they make yarns. This has a cotton core, and then they've blown in merino yarn into that sort of chain cotton core. And so you get the lightness and temperature regulating of the cotton, plus you get the merino softness and that little bit of warmth and the ability for it to hold its shape, which cotton doesn't do great, all in this one. That's why I love the Cotton Merino line. Plus, with this one, they actually brought in, they made it superwash. So you can machine wash and dry it, which makes it great for kids' clothes. And it is organic. So we were really, really happy with that. And then over here is one of our absolute favorite yarns, Patagonia.
Oh.
And we have, I don't even know, like probably 20 different colors of Patagonia. It is phenomenal. And Patagonia was the first of this organic line that we started to carry by Juniper Moon. We now carry their Aran weight and their chunky weight because it feels so beautiful. It's not a superwash yarn, but it is organic and made in Argentina from well-treated sheep. And it just feels good. So for somebody like myself who finds really scratchy wool difficult to wear, I love this. So then when they brought out the other ones, which was, I've got them here, Santa Cruz, which is their Aran weight, and then La Pampa, which I recently posted a lot about because I whipped off a carbeth in a week with this. It was awesome. We're just thrilled. We love this yarn. We're huge fans. And then Como is another wonderful, I say it's made with magic, because they have taken this yarn and in 25 grams, this is a teeny tiny ball, you get the same yardage as you would in a 50-gram ball of any other DK weight yarn.
Wow.
How do they do it? I have no idea. But it is amazing. So we love these little things that are just like kind of blow our minds. And then we'll come over here. So we've got another wall that goes way to the back here of all sorts of yarns. We've got Lopi. We've got Moonshine by Juniper Moon. We've got Baby Camel. And then we have a lot of cotton merino because it's my fave. It's what I'm wearing right now. My brand new, just hot off the needles, Love Note. And then they came out with this tweed.
Wow.
Which just was like, oh, I have to have this. So when we like something, we really like something. And then we've got a whole bunch of cottons. And even this is like a beautiful cotton that goes into like a gradient. And then we've got a whole bunch of bags, project bags. So we've got my sister company, Wonder Twin Fiber Arts. We've got a lot of bags from them, obviously. And our slogan is, it takes balls to knit.
It does.
It does. So we've got it on t-shirts, bags, mugs, you name it, that's our thing. And then we get into the, hang on, I'm just gonna turn off the fan. We get into worsted and heavier, and this is our beautiful sample
Wow.
of the Antlers Beach. Yeah, you saw that one. And so we did up some kits for that, and of course we had to have a sample. And then we get into some kits at the back of the store here. We're putting together even more kits. We've got kits for our More Than a Rainbow scarves, which we have in the traditional gay pride, transgender, bisexual, and non-binary flags. And yeah, and then we've got all our needles and hooks and accessories and all that stuff. Oh, and hang on. All the mohair.
Wow.
Which I'm showing you because I just posted recently about this scarf, which is 5 colors of mohair with one of the shiny strands held with it. And good Lord, this thing is light as air. It is wonderful.
That is beautiful. Oh my goodness, obsessed.
Oh yeah. Okay, so that is the little shop tour, and I can show you some of the samples with some of that yarn that I just showed you because it's all sitting here with me. So we have a lot of hand-dyed yarns as well as regular, manufactured yarns. And so some of our favorites we post a lot about, like Richard DeVries. He's from the Owen Sound area. He has become such a dear friend of mine. So he's sort of like my older brother. He's like, we get along really well, and he's just wonderful. So I do a lot of designing with his yarns. And last year we did sort of our take on an advent calendar, but not really. It was holiday survival kit. And we did a stained glass cowl. So it uses a bunch of minis and then a solid to go with it. And that did really well because Richard's total like creative, I don't even know what like genius is in speckled yarns and hand dyed yarns. And he just does the most beautiful, I had them here and I've totally misplaced them. Oh, here we go. He does the most beautiful, bright colors. And he's got all different weights. And so we carry a lot of his yarn.
Beautiful. Isn't he the one that delivered the yarn to Tom Daly during the Olympics?
Yes.
A little star power there?
Yep, just a little bit. And that was the baby blanket kit, actually, that we have sold so many of these because it's just the prettiest thing.
It's
Isn't it
amazing.
just, yeah. So that's what he gave to Tom Daly. Yep. So I can't wait to see if he knits his up because he'll love it. And then we also, one of my very first customers who then retired, became a master spinner and a yarn dyer, and is now teaches spinning, has taught some dye courses, and does our monthly spin-ins when we're able to do that again, is Jane Steves from Three Dog Fibers.
Ah, yes.
And she's up in the sort of Penetanguishene area. And so we carry her yarns and her roving, because she hand dyes roving, and she teaches spinning, and she's just so knowledgeable. So we love when she comes to visit and brings us all sorts of wonderful yarns. And then another person that we met relatively early on and became friends with was Debbie from Yarn Indulgences.
Oh, yes.
And she has moved to New Brunswick.
Oh.
So she used to be in the Cambridge area and then moved out to New Brunswick, which, I mean, I'm envious for that. She's wonderful. But when we first moved to Bronte, we wanted to do something that was customized for our store. And we moved from Burlington after 10 years to Bronte and thought, let's do something specific to our new neighborhood. So we ended up doing a 4-season collection of all of the colors from our area in Bronte Village. So when springtime came around, we realized all these magnolia trees was huge in Bronte. So that was the inspiration for the spring in Bronte. And then summer was just all the flower colors. So we've got a lot of purples and greens. And then fall, there's so many beautiful trees in Bronte. So all the fall colors. And then when you look over the water, because we're right near the harbor, it was, the icy blue of the water and the horizon in Bronte. So we got all 4 after a year. We just did it season by season. And these are her Cashmere merino mix. So it's super soft too. And so I put together called 4-season cowl, just to put them all together, and you can wear all 4 seasons around your neck or over your shoulders. And I just thought they all looked so beautiful together.
They do. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was another way to bring the talent of a local dyer into the store, and just love it. And then you have interviewed Debbie from The Loving Path.
Yes. Yes.
Just disappeared for a moment. And we love Debbie, and she is just the sweetest person in the world, as you now know. Mm-hmm. And so we had her and Richard here for our trunk show in August. And she came out with this new merino linen base. And so I did this. I swore I would never do a fingering weight sweater because they took too long. And then as soon as I saw this, I'm like, I'm making something. So I made this, and I love it. It's the Gramps Revive cardigan by Isabel Kramer. And it's so soft. So
the colors in there are beautiful.
Yes. And that's the thing with Debbie, is that she does small batches. So her colors are so consistent, and the saturation was just beautiful. And I love her, and I love her yarn. Her personality comes through in the yarn, and it's just wonderful.
Well, this sounds like so many of these relationships, feed into the yarn, and, everything to do with your relationship with the dyer and your history with them, it all leads to you carrying these beautiful yarns, which is
totally. Because it's community. I mean, this whole industry really is about community. And if you can sort of see it that way and embrace the fact that the people who visit a yarn store, the people who, you know, are drawn to these natural fibers, so they're your people, they're your community. And yeah, and that really is what feeds us and keeps us going.
Yeah. Any more samples for us there? Your love note is spectacular. I'm in love.
Thank you. I absolutely, yeah, that's
yes,
merino.
I knew.
And this is my carbeth that I made out of the La Pampa. And this is like the chunkiest, yummiest yarn. I absolutely adore it. And so, yeah, like a week, start to finish, I did this puppy, and it's great. I'm like, why? I'm so late on some of these sweater, you know, fads, because I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe it'll, like, you know, am I going to really like it? Do I want it just because everybody else is doing it? So then years later, I'm like, why didn't I ever make myself a carbeth? Why didn't I ever make myself a love note? So this past year, I've been catching up. And yeah, so I did that one. And then I made this one. And in the spring, hang on one sec, I forgot to put it close.
I also have the Patagonia like caked up, ready to go to make a sweater for my son.
Oh, what are you going to make?
I'm making, it's called the Montrealer by Max the Knitter. Oh, wait, it's not by Max. No, it's by Vincent. Yeah, it's by
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I love their patterns. They are a great combo, those two. So this I thought was so cool because the color works on the shoulders only.
Awesome.
And,
wow.
Yeah. So it's called the Vegas sweater. And I made that in the spring. As soon as things got warm, I'm like, why am I doing this? I don't know, but you just got to go with it. So now it's ready. Now that the fall is here and I can finally wear it. So yeah. So that's what I'm doing right now. All my work from the spring is now.
Oh, I think we're all so ready. We're all ready for the sweater weather. Wait, how do I say it again? Hug? Was that right?
Yes.
Okay, I got it. The cozy season, whatever you want to call it. We are all living for it. We're all ready. What is in your personal queue coming up now?
Oh, see, most of my knitting is for the store. So when it's like just for me, I go, oh, wait a minute. I actually get to make something that's for me. Hang on. So I've been knitting using some of my leftovers from other projects. Like I made this in the spring as well, out of that Como yarn, the one that I said was made with magic because it is so light and goes so far. So this was an Isabel Kramer pattern called, it'll come to me in a minute, Ingrid, called the Ingrid pullover. And I modified some of the colors, but the pattern is the same. And so I had a bunch of leftovers from this because you don't use very much in here. And I thought, okay, I love this yarn. What am I going to do with it? So when Tin Can Knits came out with their sunshine hat recently, it's got this wonderful bright color work. I think I actually have I don't have a colored version of it, but and so it uses just little bits of 5 different colors and then your main color. So I thought I'm going to use up all my little extras. So that's what I'm working on right now is these hats using up little bits. And then from my Merlin sweater, I have some extras as well. And when Debbie was here in August, I bought one of her mini sets. And so I'm actually going to do the laser tag shawl. And it just looked like so much fun. And I had like the exact amount of yarn that I would need for that. So that's another one that's just for me. So nice. That's going to be a personal one for me. And then I'm also going to be knitting up some hats for some kits for the store because we're always wanting to put some new stuff out for kits for, the season. So we're going to do one out of the Santa Cruz, which is an Aran weight. So it'll be a quicker knit, for something. And then also the cotton merino fine, the glare that I had told you about before. that's a sport weight, and the colors are they're just so pretty.
Oh yeah.
So Chelsea and I were looking up some patterns, and so I'm going to go with this one out of Nitty.
Wow.
It's called Undergrowth, and it's from 2011. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I need to make this. So I am going to use these two colors together.
Beautiful.
And make that. So there's a couple of great kits we've got on the go, and so that's mostly what my knitting is doing things for the store, which of course we love to do. So and it means that we can knit and it doesn't stay at home, it goes to the store, and so we don't have these piles of things starting to
right
yeah.
Too much knitting would definitely be a problem if I ever got there. I keep giving things away. I got to stop that.
Hey, that's okay, because I mean, otherwise you will have piles and piles.
That's probably true. Especially like, I don't know about you, but I've been especially prolific with staying at home more often.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, we're kind of, project machines these days. But speaking of doing things for the store, one thing I wanted to congratulate you on and comment on a little bit is your visibility on Instagram and your engagement on Instagram with the public. It's actually amazing, because for me, I find it tough to get on, the phone or whatever and create content. But I always see fun stuff coming from Spun with your team.
They're amazing.
Right?
The two newest employees that we have, Andrea and Rosa, they're so much fun. And my daughter Briar also works part-time. And so Rosa and Briar are around the same age and very Instagram savvy and know how to do reels. So you're like, well, do you mind? Like, do I mind? Go for it, do it. And one thing I love is, surrounding myself with people who know more than me, because you learn from them and they make you look good. So why not? So I let them just have fun, and it shows, because these reels are hilarious. And Rosa just, she's wonderful. So she comes up with these ideas. I'm like, hey, go do it. That's okay. And so everybody just has fun with it. And then the rest of the time, I just like showing off my finished objects and talking about them and, describing the yarn. And, but, I agree, coming up with content is very challenging. Some days I am just burnt out and I think I have no idea. But thankfully, I have 3 or 4 other people that I can go, okay, has anybody got any ideas for today? Because I'm out of them. And, somebody's got something that they've looked at recently that's popped out at them from the shelf, or that they've seen, online, and go, hey, I bet you this yarn would, work great with this pattern. And like, brilliant. Okay. So I have the best team. And that's one thing that people say when they walk in. And I'm just so grateful, because when I started 15 years ago, what I said was I wanted to have an atmosphere that was welcoming, an atmosphere that was encouraging and positive, and that people wanted to hang out here. And, people come in and they get the service they need, but they also get the kindness and they get the fun and they get that energy, and they walk out going, God, this was actually really great. I was worried I didn't know what I was talking about, and they just feel welcomed. And I get that, response from people, sometimes by email, sometimes on a Google review, sometimes just people come in and go, you know what, that person that served me, she was really great. And I love passing on that information. So I am so grateful every day for the team that we've got here. And it's a great place.
You expressing that thankfulness for having these wonderful people around you. I think that give and take, it makes a huge difference in the environment as well. And then the guests who come in feel that, right?
Yep. And and to have Chelsea managing the store, I know I don't even have to be here, because she and I are like, that's why we called our business Wonder Twin Fiber Arts, because we kept joking that we were each other's other half of the brain, because that person that you don't even have to finish the sentence and they're like, oh yeah, got it, already on it. And so we just realized we think the same, we have the same type of creativity, and speed of thinking. And so we can just, go with it and, totally trust that the other person gets what you're talking about. So then when we started our creative endeavor together with the bags, it was just like total shared, passion and joy, and we just love it. So yeah, so to have somebody in the store managing everything that is like your best friend, and then these younger employees who know how to use all the technology and have fun with it it's just the perfect mix.
Oh yeah. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Welcome. You're very welcome. It was wonderful. I'm so glad we finally made it work, Janine.
I know, and I absolutely love connecting with people that I didn't previously know. Even running out to your store and meeting you was a total joy, and everything that you keep in your shop was so drool worthy. It's hard to hold back. My Wonder Twins bag is treating me really nice. Just letting you know.
Good. I'm so happy.
Yeah, there's a shawl that's so massive that it's starting to protrude out of the bag now. So
that's massive.
It is. Okay. But yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And I hope that I get to come by again in the very near future. And everybody, I'm going to throw your Instagram handle up there, and everybody can hop on over there and see all of your very entertaining reels.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
I just want to thank you so much for putting up with the scattered nature of today's episode. If it was scattered, I feel very scattered in life right now. But I had fun. Hopefully you did too. And I've got another great interview coming up next month. So somehow I'm going to squeeze out another episode because I'm really excited for you to see who I'm going to interview next. Bye. Have a good one.